How did you discover your friend had already picked your cause of death? The yacht captain found Whitney floating face down in the Mykonos harbor while we were still dancing to terrible remix music below deck. Sutton had followed her out for fresh air and came back screaming that Whitney went over the railing reaching for her phone. I held Sutton's hair while she puked champagne and tears all the way back to port, but something felt off about how she kept checking her watch between sobs. Whitney was the first of us to get engaged, so her Mykonos bachelorette was our big reunion after college. She could outdrink all of us without stumbling, yet somehow couldn't handle a boat railing. 18 months later, I was picking cactus spines out of my legs at Piper's Cabo Bachelorette when they airlifted her body out of the ravine. Her ATV had launched off the trail during the sunrise ride that Sutton swore would give us the best Instagram photos for the bride-to-be. The guide kept babbling about how tourists always underestimate the turns, but Piper drove like someone's grandmother even after tequila shots. While we waited for our statements at the police station, Sutton was already on her phone arranging cremation and international shipping like she'd done this before. My stomach turned watching her work through the logistics so efficiently, but I told myself she was just good in a crisis. My Costa Rica bachelorette was supposed to be different, but Sutton insisted on booking the same kind of extreme packages she always found through sketchy websites. When Addison's parasail line snapped 200 feet over the ocean, I watched her cartwheel through the sky and knew this wasn't coincidence anymore. That night, Sutton passed out hard after mixing Xanax with rum, and I tore through her room like a detective. Her laptop was password protected, but she'd left a folder of papers in her suitcase that made me want to scream. Investment account statements showing $25 million with 5 names listed, and a highlighted section about tontine rules where the last living member inherited everything. 3 names had death certificates paperclipped to them. The papers went back 8 years to some drunk senior night when we'd all thrown $500 into a crypto investment as a joke. Sutton had notes tracking the value explosion during the pandemic and calculations showing how much she'd get after taxes. She'd printed research about adventure tourism death rates and highlighted which companies had the most accidents. At the bottom of one page, she'd written a practice suicide note for me about how I couldn't handle losing my sisters. My phone camera was shaking as I documented everything. The next morning, Sutton bounced into my room talking about a special helicopter tour to scatter flowers for our dead friends over the volcano. Her eyes were too bright, and she'd already paid the pilot who was waiting outside. When I said I felt sick, she grabbed my wrist and twisted until I gasped. "Stop being dramatic and get dressed because this is happening today whether you're ready or not." Her fake concern mask finally slipped completely. I locked myself in the bathroom and called the embassy while she pounded on the door screaming about missing our reservation. My brother at the State Department had contacts who arrived just as Sutton was trying to unscrew the door hinges with a butter knife. The pilot cracked immediately and admitted she'd offered him $50,000 to stage a mechanical failure over the volcano. They found her real plan on her phone, including practice emails to the investment company about claiming sole survivor benefits. She'd researched whether bodies were required for death certificates in Costa Rica and had my passport photos saved in a folder labeled Final Package. During the arrest, Sutton thrashed like a wild animal and screamed about how we'd all agreed to the terms even if we were too drunk to remember. Then she started laughing and pulled out her phone with her cuffed hands. $25 million for 8 years of planning. But you want to know the best part? She hit play on a voice recording and my drunk 21-year-old voice filled the police car. "Oh my god, if this actually hits like 20 million, we should totally kill each other for it. Last bitch standing gets everything. Sutton, you push me off something high and I'll haunt you, but like in a fun way." Everyone in the recording was cackling, including dead Whitney and Piper and Addison. My blood went ice cold listening to myself plan exactly what happened. "I was just following your business model, sweetie. You pitched it first." The agents dragged her away, but she was still laughing because we both knew she was right. I had given her the idea that killed our friends, and now I hear my own drunk voice every night telling her exactly how to do it.